You're listening to On Composition, a dancefilmmaking.com podcast at the intersection of dance making and film composition. In today's episode, we're talking process with dancer Sandrine Vachon, choreographer Fannie Côté, and director Nicholas Castel. Stay tuned to hear how they shifted their film Rencontres Fragmentaires from studio to screen while preserving its essence and its energy.
La rencontre des étoiles, comme une offrande des mots présage.
I'm Celine. I'm the editorial director at Dance Filmmaking, and Radia will be translating for us today.
Hi, I'm Radia Hennessy, and I also would like to act as a bridge to a wider audience who, like me, is not, necessarily aware of dance films.
I'm Sandrine. I am a professionally trained contemporary dancer, but I'm also teaching a lot, and I'm also choreographing. I'm a rehearsal coach, and I wear all these hats. But in this dance film, I was just a dancer, and I was really happy to be just a dancer. I thought about the project, and I wrote the art grant. But I started the project, and I had these amazing artists, Fannie and Nicholas, that said yes. So yeah, I was interprète with my Dominique, the other dancer.
Well, I'm Fannie. I'm a professional dancer and I'm a choreographer. And I choreographed the project for Sandrine before it was meant to be on stage. And then Sandrine applied for a grant to put it in the virtual world. And I've done a lot of dance film with Nicholas as well. It was kind of our pandemic fun activities we would do together. So we used to work together, and then I brought Nicolas on the project with Sandrine.
Yep, and I'm Nicholas, and on this project I was the director of photography, and as well kind of helped realize the vision for the project with Fannie and Sandrine. So it was I met Fannie through COVID and friends, and we just started collaborating on dance films. And then Sandrine and I sat in on one of their rehearsals early on the film, and that's how I said, wow, this is so beautiful to see this really fully fledged idea through dance. And so then we made the project together. So
let's start with a little bit of background on how this film came to be, because I know it wasn't super straightforward. Let's go back to the very beginning. How did you get the idea? Or if you're someone that came onto the project later, how did you enter the project?
I was really interested in this idea of traces. In French, we say empreinte. I couldn't find the right word, but it's like footprint or imprints or inscripted things in the self or in the body, and how every experience that we have in our life, like tiny or major ones, will transform us, and I think as dancers we're really sensitive to that, of that the idea that the body is not something that we have, it's something that we are. So it's like the mind, the spirit, the heart, the emotion, the sensation, it's all part of the self. And because I'm getting older, or maybe I should say wiser, I wanted a theme or a subject that I would find relevant to speak to everybody, so that the dancing project wasn't just about me wanting to dance more or again, but also that the theme of the project, of the creative process, could talk to anybody. So I started with that, writing the grant with all these keywords in mind. And also, so there was also this idea of time passing. So as a dancer, as an artist, as a mother, as a teacher, what do I leave, to the people I meet? And what is left inside of me of all these relationship and experience that I have in my life? So I thought that was an interesting subject. It's not original, but I thought we had something to start with. And so from the very beginning, I wanted to work with different generations. So I asked Dominic, the other dancer, that is not only a great dancer, but he's an amazing partner. We had so much fun working and improvising in the first phase of the project together. I choose Fannie because she's on top of her career. She's a great dancer, choreographer. I really like the work that she's doing. And also in another life, in another world, she was in the studio with me as my student. So I wanted that, you know, generation passing. And I really want my actual and older dance students to participate. So that was already in the original phase, but we got a grant for research and creative process, which is really great because we didn't get the pressure of finishing a piece like that we had to sold to a theater or whatever. It was really like, okay, we're going to work in the studio with these themes for, you know, 50 hours or 30 hours, I don't remember. And then we're just going to share it with the community and have a discussion afterward. But then Omicron came back and we got shut down like 4 hours before the theater venue. So we were like, okay. And I couldn't let go after that. I really hung on to the project. I thought we really had something interesting that we worked with Fannie in the studio, and the themes were really rich. And so it was really quick that we decided to do a dance film because she's done some already. And also because we thought, we didn't know at the time if we would be in a pandemic for another 5 or 10 years. So we thought, at least we have a project that we can share with the world, whatever, you know, happens. And for me in my career, I didn't get that much chance to do video dance or dance filmmaking. So it was like a new experience for me to have like the public not knowing where it's going to be. Like, it's not just in front, it's not outdoor, like in a semicircle, it's going to be like everywhere. And I really, really enjoy that. Like, I really find that really, interesting. And so I really learned from that. So I'm talking a lot. I hope it makes sense. But yeah, so that was the first part. And then we applied for the dance film and we got the grant. So then yeah, the second part. I'm gonna let Fannie maybe and Nicolas talk about the second part because I really trusted them after that. I was like, okay, I'm the dancer and it's the same theme, but you're the captains now.
I can continue a bit, but yeah. So we were like first phase in studio. The theme that Sandrine gave to me were all that she explained. And while we were in the studio and like my little research before arriving in studio, I wanted also to add on to explore the concept of like distance also between the two dancers. So how to be how you can be very close to someone physically, but feel so distant, and on the contrary, how you can be very far apart and like still feel a connection. And so we applied that to the process, but with that part we had so many movements already, so many sections that we didn't really show anyone. So when Sandrine suggested that we do a dance film, I was like, fuck yeah, because to me I love stage work, but I love dance film because it's like a way to create magic. I feel like there's a lot of things you can cheat and make like appear everything like more not perfect, but you can really decide more on where le spectateur,
The audience.
the audience is gonna focus. While you're on stage, the audience can focus on whatever they want. When you're filming, you decide what the point of focus is gonna be. So I was really excited to play with that and also to have two more wiser dancers. Sandrine was talking about like that she was getting older, but for me, I was seeing it like it's rare also for me to have the chance to work with dancers that have more experience, because that's what happens usually with age. You have more experience. So I'm used to, maybe I was choreographing more with like people in their beginning 20s, and I kind of like not prefer it, but I found it so much it was richer for me, and it was also easier in a way because they know how their body works, and they also had a really strong connection and like ease in improv work and how they would play with each other. So yeah, we wanted to transfer all of that cool stuff we did on stage on video, and we me and Nicolas and I brainstorm a bit, and we went through a lot of ideas, and we wanted to make it about Sandrine and how she to come back a bit to the trace, the first idea she got, and how we can like put it into the video, like how all the different encounters in her life maybe affect her through her passing. All those person that she meet. There's the student that we brought to the film too, that they could represent their shadows, or we can, maybe Nicolas can help me with that part of how we wanted to tell a story too with the film.
Well, that's sort of it. When it becomes into the video world and the film world, you have to turn it into a story of some kind, and you have to make it short and sweet. So that was our job, and sort of this final part was, okay, what's the beginning, what's the middle, what's the end? And we left some of it up for the audience to interpret too. Like, it's not, we didn't draw any hard lines on this. It's a fluid piece, but we did try to introduce Sandrine at the beginning, and then sort of her on her own experiencing some of these this imprinting and this movement, and then we introduced the students and the characters, and then that really changes her world. And then with Dominique as well, sort of leading her, and she explores more movement with him, and then we close it right with I don't want to spoil it, maybe the folks watching the podcast or listening to the podcast should go listen, but you see that journey in a sense, and that was really fun for us to take that to a different level. And I think too, it was cool you're talking Radia, about like how film and dance are intersecting, and what that allows us to do, and how it's interesting or unique. And I think, like as Fannie mentioned, the focus, we can really tailor the focus. We can cut between worlds. We can introduce themes like on the fly in the edit, and just it opens it up even further. And I think that's what we all enjoyed exploring. I think it was an exploration, a lot of this for us. It was, all right, let's see what we can do now. Like, let's go here, let's try this, and then we wove it all together in the edit. So.
Thank you. I am curious, as we talk about the two themes that you're exploring, the tracing and the passing of time, how you went about generating the actual movement in the studio. And it seems like it had to shift a little bit for the screen as well. So I'm curious what that process was like for you.
It was a lot about improv. Like she finally came with, I think, after a few rehearsals, like with one sentence that she already choreographed, but all the rest was like improv. She got to the studio, she was ready, she had ideas, she had movement, texture, or qualities, she had music, but we improv a lot, and that was like pure joy. I would say, like, we were playing in the studio, we were working, but I mean, it was so much fun.
Playing a lot.
We were playing a lot. But Dominique and I had this really strong connection, and I danced with him a long time ago in the same company, but we never had a duet together. So I chose him because he's amazing, but also because I really wanted to work with him in the duet format. And so we improv a lot, and we were really comfortable together. And I don't know, Fannie, maybe if you agree, but it was like same deal, like right away. And she was like, oh my God. So we tried all these things, and sometimes we did some things and it was awkward, but sometimes it was great. And she would record a lot. So the next day or the next rehearsal, she would show us and say, okay, we keep this and we go from this. And she already had,
now it's coming back.
Even before the dance film project, she has a very cinematographic way of choreographing.
I'm very visual, as she said. Like I think I see life in a film way sometimes, and I arrived with a lot of images. I always do like a Pinterest mood board, and I'm very like visual. It's sometimes about dancers, but sometimes it's animals too. A lot of architecture, and it's really through shapes that I get ideas. And I always like arrive with when I'm choreographing, I arrive with a little plan of like ID 1 to 10, and we try. So it's more about giving the theme, themes
The theme.
or images or like concept, and they would play with it, as Sandrine said. And that kind of like everything was kind of organic in studio. I would propose some little ideas or images or stuff to start, and they would go on, and that would just create magical moments between them two. And yeah, it was kind of work in progress. We kind of add on. But all of the first phase was a bit about, to me, the relationship with them. Sometimes I would make them start a lot like far away and meet, or that kind of proximity on the floor, or go up, go down. And then when we went to do the film, there was a lot of things that I had to scratch. Also, a lot of the choreo was on the floor for work, and we wanted to film like outside or like in an old church, so it was impossible to, because of the costume, because of it was very dirty, all of those things got scratched. So it was all about how can we effectively, because we didn't have much rehearsing time and stuff, take what we had and bring it into another environment. Yeah. The group was kind of supporting of Sandrine more, like, so we kind of use them to create more a story than to create it was more to, it was as a support always for the story, and to play with shadows and like the trace. We wanted to, like, if you see it in a more like abstract way, me and Nicolas, we were trying to, how can we put into images like the trace or the shadow that is following Sandrine. So that was the inspiration for like all of those dancers we add on to create shapes, to create to support Sandrine. And it was all the day of. We didn't have any rehearsal also, so it was kind of like, it had to be kind of simple, and it was okay, follow me, and I would do it in the back, and I would yell stuff, and it was really on the moment, me shouting stuff and them like executing it, and they were really great. We had a really fun time, but yeah, it was in the moment thing.
Sometimes the spontaneous movement can be the best, right? Because it's you in the body, and everyone's really curious about what is going on, that everyone's really activated, and that, I think that translates really well for film. So on that topic, and maybe this is a question also for Nicholas, but I'm really curious about the way you use color and light in the film, in the costumes, and also in the locations. I noticed a lot of the locations have these like streaming sources of light, and you're talking a lot about playing with the shadows. So how does your vision come into play there?
I think we got really lucky with our weather, like just in general. We had a beautiful fall day for one of our shoots, and then we had another beautiful sunny day, and this church that we found was pristine, so to speak. And even we didn't realize that some of the dust would kick up while we were dancing in the church and really allow for these light beams to come through. I remember too, Fannie, when you brought out that blue dress for Sandrine, and it was like, wow, okay, like we're going blue. I don't remember kind of that conversation, but it really worked. And with the greens and the bright colors, I think really take shape when Dominique sort of enters the picture, and there's this new sort of character, and it kind of switches up the scene. But yeah, I mean, I just think I love color, I love light, and we didn't pay too close attention, I think, to the coloring. We just wanted to make the two worlds really obvious, like the one world that Sandrine was in, and then the other one with all the dancers around her, and really kind of make those two different color schemes just for continuity and to help the viewer kind of get immersed in each of the worlds. But yeah, I think I just like punchy colors and nice light, and it worked out.
And maybe I can add, I think that there was some kind of magical pressure, in the sense that, like Fanny said, we didn't have time to rehearse in all the spaces before the days we were shooting. So we had a very long and beautiful long day in Drummondville, and then a beautiful and long day in Montreal. So we had to be right on right away. And I think even the young dancers felt that. They felt, well, they're my students. When I speak, they listen. But also Fannie was there, and they were really, amazed by the fact that, we're going to participate in a professional dance movie. So they were really great. Like the 7 younger ones in Drummondville, and the 5 older one in professional program in Montreal. So they were really generous and very open to everything that was happening. And also, I think before, as much as we were so sad in the first phase we couldn't present, I mean, all that work and all those memories of expression and the body was with me and Dominic too. So even if Fannie took out a lot of things, the thing that she kept that she wanted to be in the movie, Dominic and I, we remembered, in the body, we remember the process. So I like to think that it's one of the reasons why, it's rich also because, or maybe I'm just more at peace with the fact that the first phase never happened, but this is kind of what made the dance film, I think, also rich, because it was not new. It was something that we went through, and we had that with us, and we brought it to the scene, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you learn from the process of making this film?
I loved how collaborative it was and how many different people we were able to bring on in some way or another, really trying to get a diverse cast and crew. And I just love, like, the more interesting people you can kind of mash together on a project, it usually works out for the better. And just people that, like, how important it is to show up and we had really early mornings, a lot of the students showed up for the really early mornings in remote places. And, like, it really meant a lot that people put in that extra little work on this project. And it always shows, it always translates. Like, if you put it in, you'll see it. And I think we put in that extra love and care, and it came out working. So
for me, I think it's, I'm very happy that we were able to create a universe on its own, that it's so, like, with the music also, I think the music contributes a lot to capture a bit what I don't know. I just find it always so cool when you have an idea in your mind and you can translate it into the real world. So to me, as Nick said, collaborative, a lot of people involved, a lot of, like, really talented people involved. And I don't know, it's just like, I always feel it's like creating magic on those days. Oh, the sun reflects perfectly at that time. And even when you think you're stuck or, fuck, it's not gonna work, or, like, our original idea doesn't come out as we planned, it's always for the better. It's always like, oh, wow, like, it created something else. And it's always to be like alert to what's happening and to roll with it. And I feel it's always creating a magical moment.
For me, I think, well, I learned a lot. I think maybe it's more about an encouragement to myself to just keep dancing as long as I want to, and that I can. And it's changing, it's transforming, but I mean, I think I still have something to say. And I really learned that when you have an idea and you reach for a community, for people, but then something great happened, So yeah, I'm really proud of the project, of everyone involved. But I don't think I'm retiring soon. So yeah, I'm hoping to do more and work with Fannie and Nicolas. But I think that, like I was saying before, like the dance film and the how it changes movement, that really appeals to me. I find it very interesting to have the attention and expression, knowing that it's everywhere, and it's also in the moment and in your instinct and what you feel. And it's not just about, like, showing something, but, like, I know that already, but just it confirms, like, that there's richness sometimes in authenticity or in simple things. Yeah.